Well, new this morning, an apartment fire overnight in Westminster sent 4 people to the hospital. This is on West 97th, right off Sheridan. Fire crews say they rescued 3 people and a dog from a 3rd-story window. All 4 people are expected to be okay, thank goodness. Crews are still investigating how this fire started.
This morning, we're following 2 crashes overnight. The first happened in Castle Rock on Crowfoot Valley Road near McConta Boulevard around 5:30 last night. 2 people died in a head-on crash. Investigators say 3 cars were involved in the crash and that 2 or 3 other people were taken to the hospital. The sheriff's office didn't know the extent of their injuries. We're still working to learn more about what led up to the crash and who was involved.
And in Boulder, police are investigating a crash involving an RTD bus and a motorcyclist. The intersection at Broadway and Lee Hill was closed for hours, just reopened last night before 11. The motorcyclist was taken to the hospital and may not survive, sadly.
The man accused of fatally shooting an Arvada police officer Sunday morning made his first appearance in court yesterday. 31-year-old Sonny Almanza is facing charges of first-degree murder and attempted murder. He's accused of killing Arvada police officer Dylan Vakov early Sunday morning and shooting another woman. She's expected to survive. The DA will file 4 more charges sometime next week. The judge ordered Almanza to be held without bond.
Officer Dylan Vakov's funeral will be Friday morning. It'll be at Flatirons Community Church in Lafayette at 10 o'clock in the morning. The service is open to the public for anyone who would like to attend. For anyone who can't but would still like to watch, it will also be streamed online. We do have this information on how people are financially supporting as well the family. You can find that link in this article on 9news.com. And there are hundreds of empty positions in the Denver Police Department and Sheriff's Department. That means expensive overtime for the officers and deputies who are working. 9 News reporter Cole Sullivan shows us that the tab is adding up.
When Denver police officers arrive at work, the calls are already waiting. Calls the short-staffed shift before them couldn't get to.
We are losing bodies faster than we're filling seats in the academy. And we're just losing a lot of people, so those staffing pinches are becoming more pronounced.
When staffing gets too low or call volume too high, bosses tell officers to work overtime, says the police union's Brian O'Neill.
It's happening more and more as time goes on.
That overtime costs taxpayers. Through July of this year, DPD paid out $8 million in overtime. It's on track to surpass last year's $10.8 million. At the Sheriff's Department, it's even worse, from $11 million in overtime in 2020 to $16 million last year. Beyond the price tag to taxpayers, the additional hours can exhaust officers, O'Neill says.
It takes a toll emotionally and, physically on these officers.
Departments are trying to hire backup. DPD offers vacation time for officers who recruit friends to the force. And the City Council just approved $7,000 bonuses to try to keep sheriff's deputies. If that doesn't help, officers like Brian O'Neill will keep working overtime.
Well, as a taxpayer, I don't want to see my dollars spent on overtime when they don't need to be. But on the flip side, especially when it comes to public safety, if I pick up the phone and call 911, I want somebody to be there.
DPD says it is short 10% of the number of officers it's authorized to hire. At the sheriff's office, the spokesperson says staffing is down 30%. That's about 250 deputies. New CDC data gives more context on fentanyl's impact nationwide. According to the agency, fentanyl and other synthetic opioids were involved in more than 2/3 of overdose deaths in this country between March of 2021 and March of this year. In that time frame, the data found more than 109,000 people total sadly died from overdose. So when you do the math, synthetic opioids like fentanyl played a role in more than 72,000 overdose deaths nationwide. To give that number some historical context, that's an 80% increase over the past couple of years. As we continue to cover fentanyl in Colorado, we're revisiting a case that got a lot of attention nationwide. 5 people died from fentanyl inside a Commerce City apartment back in February. 9 News reporter Darius Johnson joins us now. And Darius, they still haven't charged anyone in this case.
No, Corey. After 6 months, sadly, they haven't. And based on the evidence that they've been able to gather so far, the DA says it won't lead to any charges unless they learn more in the future. This happened back on February 20th at an apartment complex in Commerce City. Police found 5 people people dead inside after using cocaine. After their deaths, it was found that their cocaine was laced with fentanyl. Over the last 6 months, law enforcement agencies have reviewed surveillance, DNA evidence, spoken to witnesses, and sifted through phone records. However, the Adams County DA says none of that is enough to lead to any charges. They say it's disappointing, as fentanyl is now one of the most dangerous drugs on the streets.
It is killing our young people, as is illustrated by the deaths of these 5 young people in February. And the problem is only getting worse.
Now, Mason continued to say, though there won't be any charges, the evidence does show that the 5 who were inside that apartment had no idea what they were ingesting or that it would potentially kill them. The sister of one of the victims says this is very disappointing and that whoever is responsible for giving them the drugs is still walking free.
Yeah, they had no idea that it was laced with fentanyl, and it can be just a small amount that makes someone accidentally overdose.
Yep, just a small amount. And I think in all of these cases, the big takeaway, the families call these poisonings because their loved ones didn't know what they were taking.
Such a sad story. Darius, thank you.
2 Republicans on Aurora City Council are trying to stop Aurora Fire Rescue from using any new sedatives. Union members expressed concern they could get in trouble if something went wrong. Sedatives are under scrutiny after the death of Elijah McLean, a black man stopped by police for doing nothing wrong. Aurora paramedics injected him with a large dose of ketamine, an amount appropriate for someone 77 pounds heavier than McLean. They have now stopped using ketamine since his death. Aurora Fire Rescue just recently started using droperidol, an antipsychotic sedative. The resolution would ban adding any new chemical sedatives to EMS protocols for the next 3 years. Council members Curtis Gardner and Danielle Jurinsky are introducing that resolution next Monday.